What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video today, and in this video I'm unboxing the final white whale. You go from having nothing to start 2025, and after just a couple of months, now I've got all three of them. So the hobby can take a quick turn in just a matter of days or weeks, and even just a couple of months. So, you know, entering this year, I was on the lookout for these three white whales, and now I'm happy to say that I have all three of them. And this one was kind of not really one that I was super after, especially after I got the earlier livery of this example, but since one popped up in a recent collection sale from Squatchy's Diecast, I had to jump on this opportunity. Even though I'm trying to save up, mind you. I'm trying to save up for Airliners International, but I keep constantly buying stuff. I keep saying this, and my friends keep making fun of me for it, rightfully so, because this just keeps happening. But I can't pass up opportunities like this when the Western 737-200 Flying W appears in a collection sale. Yes. Happy that I finally can see this in the flesh for the first time. I've been looking for this for such a long time, and this one's probably the most critical for Retro FSD in terms of its longevity, because this lasted at the airport for such a long time, from this livery being introduced in the 70s up until they merged with Delta in 87. So about a 15-17 year window or so that this livery existed, and that this aircraft type with this livery flew into FSD. So let's head to the studio and let's unbox the final white whale. And here we go for the unboxing of the Aeroclassics 1:400 scale Western Airlines Boeing 737-200 in the Flying W livery. As I've mentioned already in this video, this is one of the three white whales for my collection, predominantly for the Retro FSD Project. The other two were the Frontier Boeing 737-200 with the Saul Bass livery and the American Airlines Fokker 100 by Gemini Jets. So now that I have all three white whales in my collection, let's go over the story as to how I got this Western. So I was just sitting around like I always do after another busy day, and I get a message from a friend. And mind you, this same friend, he helped me find one of the white whales. The Frontier is the one that he helped me find. He also helped me find one of the North Central models for Herman's Odyssey. That documentary coming out Thursday, May 15th. The final stages of editing are currently ongoing, so it should be ready to go before Thursday. Premiere tab will pop up when that is ready. But to get back on topic with the Western, he messaged me on Instagram. He messaged me about a listing that he found on Squatchy's Diecast Hangar, which, as you know, if you've watched my channel long enough with the unboxings, he gets a lot of rare models, and a good chunk of them, as of late, have come from his collection sales. And he had this up there for 70 bucks, so I immediately snatched it up. I went onto that website faster than you could say, oh no, I'm about to spend more money again, and that thing was gone. So just like that, as they say, the rest is history. And I'll bring those two white whales back into the frame once we're done with the review and everything. But speaking of the review, let's do the review. We have the Aeroclassics logo up top, nice cutout for the model. Boeing 737 printed down there, 1:400 scale Boeing license disclaimer, so one of the rare times we see a license for Aeroclassics. On the bottom, there's a nice image of a 737-200 with the adult collectible model warning. Boeing 737 on this side with a nice like red-orange background and then a front profile of one. And then see more of our products online at www.aeroclassics.net, powered by 400scalehanger.net. And then left side, same as the right. And then the back side, which has a nice little sticker right there. Let's see what that says. Western B 737-200 White, November 4518 Zulu? Should be a whiskey on there, a W, not a Z, so must be a misprint or a miswriting. I don't know if that's a proper word. Just a typo, really. But let's take this model out of the box and see what this final white whale is all about. Yes, looks immaculate. No major defects or anything, which I'd expect for the price that I did pay for this thing. Still a little high, but way better than the other two white whales, because they were 100 each. So the fact I got this for 70 is incredible. So this plastic cradle, this top half wants to come off. There we go. No plastic sheets or anything, so we just take this out and look at that. Oh man. How good does this feel to have all three white whales together, finally? So I will be making a documentary on that, by the way. I just don't know when I'm going to release it. I'd like to give it some space after Herman's Odyssey, just because that is a huge thing in of itself and has 3 times as many models as what this other documentary will feature. So I will have to figure out what exactly I want to do with that at a later date, since there's a lot of other stuff that I want to focus on, as I've just finished up college for the spring semester, so I've got my nice long summer break coming up. So I want to enjoy that as much as I can while still making all the great content that you come to my channel for. But there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Final white whale, Western 737 Flying W. Feels so good to finally say that I can have this one in the collection. Just an incredible looking model from Aeroclassics. This was made back in like 2007, if I want to say something like that. But this is a really old release, so that is why this one it's been so hard to find. But now that I finally have it, it is a great feeling. Starting off at the front, we've got the black nose cone, cockpit windows with the little eyebrows, and then there is a fleet code just above the nose gear doors right there. L1 door, and then we have the nice W, the swizzle stick, coming into play, along with the Western titles just above that. One overwing exit, Pratt & Whitney engines just below that, and I think they did print a Boeing 737 on them? Maybe not. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they... Actually, now that I think about it, I don't think they had the 737 titles printed on the engines like some airlines did. There's the rear boarding door back there with the American flag. Registration is November 4518 Whiskey, so it should be a W at the end, not a Z. And then there is the Western tail, looking great. And also the nice details there with the horizontal stabilizers for the pitch and whatnot. Looking good. There's also some landing lights there on the wing roots. Right side of the aircraft, you've got a little luggage door just beneath the W, and then there's another one right behind the wings, and then again, another look at the tail on that side. And you can also kind of see the rudder details embedded into the tail, looking good. Flip it underneath, we do have the underbelly, which is just a silver paint and not a polish, because it should be a polish IRL, but that's just not what they were able to do at the time. So just silver paint. There's a stand hole there as well. On the top of the aircraft, you do get a little bit of some overwing exit details, and then a beacon light and everything else. So there we go. The final white whale, Western 737-200. Again, the fact that I went from having none of these to start the year, and now within a span of about, like 2.5 months, I get all 3 of them. So that, if that doesn't tell you just how quick things can change in this hobby, then I don't know what will. Because, yeah, I mean, this is just an incredible sight. Just looking at all these white whales and try to position them so you can see all of them relatively equally. But there they all are, the 3 white whales for the collection. American F100, and then the Frontier, and the Western 737-200s. One of them by SMA. Aeroclassics did do a Frontier one as well, and then the Western is the Aeroclassics release. Because SMA, they never did that. They did the Indian head livery, which I do have as well. So that's kind of why I wasn't really pursuing it that much, but just knowing that the livery was so prominent at FSD, that's why I still kept it in the back of my mind to find this thing, so that once I finally came across it, it would have been a great feeling. But now that we finally have that Western 737, we have all of the white whales, the 3 big ones. So the quest for the white whales is complete. And as I said, I don't know when I'm going to make a video documenting my journey to get all these 3. It's going to be probably at a much, much later date, since I do want to put more focus on Herman's Odyssey for the foreseeable future, and with that documentary coming out very soon, I want to ensure that all of you get to see that before I start working on the next one. But rest assured, I do have plans to make a documentary covering the journey of how I got these 3, and what just challenges and everything else that I encountered all along the way, and why these models are such white whales to me in my collection. But it's great to finally have all these three, and I hope you guys enjoyed this unboxing and enjoy the shot of all three of them being in the same frame finally. It's still kind of off-center there. Sorry about that. There we go. That should be a little better with the American more closer to the center. But there we go. Finally have done it. The white whales are found. They are in my collection, and another Retro FSD update will be coming out later this month. So be on the lookout for that, as I will choose a date that is most applicable for this bad boy, one that I haven't done yet with the 727. With that being said, that is the end of the video. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.